Hey everybody, it's Allie, and welcome to an episode of Coffee with Allie. And today, I'm speaking about mentorship. So I really believe that in order to become a better photographer, mentors are really going to help you. And my current mentor is Frank Doorhof. He's a fashion photographer from Holland. He's amazing. He's a great instructor, and he wrote this book, Mastering the Model Shoot. I am a member of Frank's Patreon group, and it costs me, there's different levels. I'm at the $30 level. That gets me one image review a month, and to me, one image review a month for $30, and it's a video image review from one of the best photographers around, is gold. Frank's style inspires me, and he's taught me so much, and he really helps me reach, because every month I've got to come up with something, and I try to make it hard on him. I don't make this easy on him. I do my very best work. I do something as edgy and like something as challenging as I can, and then I send it to him, and I'm like, you find something, Frank. And he does. He always does. But it's fun. It's really fun, and I learn, and it's the best way to learn. And so what I'm doing today is I'm going to give that to you guys. And I have put out a call on my Facebook page for images, and I've got 3 images, and I'm going to review them, video reviews, just like Frank does. I'm not Frank, but I am going to give my input, my ideas, and I will show you what I think would make it better, and hopefully it helps. Okay, so let's get into this. First image I have is something that was submitted by Erin, and it's just a very basic, nice, natural light shot of her husband. And I think it's really nice lighting. First thing I would suggest on this one is a crop. So I'm just gonna give it a different crop that I think would bring more attention to Ben, which is her husband's name. So I'm gonna bring this down, he doesn't need all this space on top of his head. And I'm gonna bring this crop to his knee. I think I'm gonna bring it up a little higher. Just bring it right to about here. And then, let's see, I'm actually gonna leave it wide. It gives it more of an Instagram look, but so just so you guys know, I play with these things all the time. And actually what I think I wanna do, and I'm just gonna see what happens, it might work. I'm going to pull this out. I'm going to hit content aware, and we're going to see if it works. If it works, great, because I think it's a better crop, but it's going to have to make my little side for me. That's not great. I'm really not in the mood to, it's not that it adds that much to the image. I would have to basically do a lot of work to get this to work. So we're just going to go back into the crop, take out what didn't work. With it. So that's the first thing, is I would crop it to get a lot more attention into Ben. Do these things like on the fly. I didn't plan this, so I'm going to do it like I always do, and I'm going to run my dodge and burn layer. I'm going to grab a B for the brush, and I'm going to hit D for default. I'm going to hit X because I don't know why, but I always start with my white, and then I'm going to hit 1 for 10%. So I have a white brush on 10% on a soft light neutral gray layer. And we're just going to kind of just brighten up a little bit around his face. Get the eyes a little bit. I know he doesn't have eyes because he's got sunglasses on, but still brighten that up. And then I'm going to hit X, and then kind of darken a little bit under his jawline to define that jawline. And then I'm hitting X. I'm going to brighten up his arms a little bit and kind of brightening up a few areas, and then I'm going to take X again. Now I'm on the black. I'm going to make a fairly large brush and do a very, very soft vignette, which will help bring attention to the model. And it doesn't do a whole lot, but it does help. So what it does is it shifts the attention to the model. So the next thing I want to do is, I feel like you've got all this greenery and it's just a little bit too cool. So I'm going to add a curves layer, and I like curves. I'm going to tell you right now, you can do this with all different kinds of layers, but I like curves. and my curves properties went to the other screen. So there we go. And I always do try to play around a little bit, like I'm just gonna brighten them up just a touch and then bring the shadows down. So you kind of go for this little S, and every image, the S is gonna be different. In this case, it just brings a little bit of sharpness to it, and I think it looks nice, but he's still just a little bit, I think he needs to be warmed up, and he's a little bit red. So let's go into the RGB. Blue is opposite yellow. I'm gonna go into my blues, and I'm just gonna warm it up if I remember which way. So I'm gonna go bottom. I always forget which way to go. So you know, that's too blue, that's too yellow. Just kind of warm them up a little tiny bit. And we're not gonna go for any extreme color toning here. That looks pretty good. Actually, I thought he might be a little red, but by adding the yellow in, I think that gives it a nice look. So really, Erin, this is a pretty solid image, and those are the things I would do to just bring it out, make it a little bit sharper, and make it a little warmer to go with this color tone. So that was a pretty simple one. So that was Erin. And Erin's image was a great portrait of her husband, nice natural light, really not a lot to do except the crop. I always find that the crop is something you really want to think about. A crop will make or break an image. And then the color toning. Color toning can make or break an image because color sets a mood. And that's something that you always want to think about. So this image was submitted by Jason. And I know where he was shot at because we were at a fun house. And so I love this. This is Natalie, and she's this creepy doll. And I think it's great. And so the first thing I want to do though is remove some distractions. And so I'm going to add a blank layer, and I'm going to go with a J for my healing tool. And I don't like these red lights. I think they distract. They don't make any sense. So I'm just going to delete that. Next thing I want to do is I want to minimize this, and I want to enhance the creepy aspects of this image. And I think I'm going to do that more through dodging and burning and color toning. So we're going to run the same dodge and burn layer, but this is creepy. So I'm starting with B, the brush. I'm going to start at 20% on black. It's way too big. Make my brush fairly large, and I'm going to darken the heck out of this table. I want to just minimize it, and I'm going to darken these edges. And in this case, so I don't want a super black vignette. I don't think those really do a good job, but I'm going to selectively, it's not a vignette really, but I'm selectively darkening what I would consider the distractions. So that is making her pop. And that's something that I really think is important. But here's something else that bugs me, and that's this reflection right there. So I'm going to go back to my layer. I'm just going to grab my J tool, make it kind of small, option click in this black area, and just see if I can get rid of that thing. It's not adding to the image. And you don't have to be like, you can see I'm not exactly precise. It doesn't matter. The other thing I don't like is this right here. You don't need bright things, so I'm just going to kind of kill this a little bit. I could actually kill this by just painting it in black if I wanted, but I'm just killing it by cloning this darker color over it. Okay, Command 0 to bring out. And so see, the difference is you've taken away some distractions. You've brought the attention to the model, who's creepy as can be. And this also, you can see what this has done to the tub, to the bike. But so here's the thing, she's a creepy doll. So when you go out and you look at creepy dolls, which is something I've done before, I found that they tend to be in the greens, just like the color of her dress, and the cyans. So I'm going to go to the red channel, and I'm going to push some cyan into her highlights and pull this up. Okay. And I'm just color toning. And now I'm going to go to the blue channel and push some blue into, see, this is warm, this is cool, into the shadows. And the bottom is your shadows, and the top is your highlights, and I'm pulling it off the highlights. So I just want it to hit the shadows. So let's see what we're getting, because so it's taking a lot of the warmth out of the image. I like this. It's not enough for me. I want to make it creepier. So now what I'm going to do is add a solid color. Pink is not going to work for this. We're going to come over here. Let's try that color. I have two screens and my adapters keep going to the other screen. My settings, my properties keep going to the other screen. I'm going to change this to soft light. Okay, now I'm liking this, but it's too much. So I have a choice. I can decide that I'm going to just take down the opacity, which I might do. But what I prefer to do is to apply it to either the highlights or the shadows. So I think I like it here. Now I'm going to highlight the layer mask and I'm going to go to Image, Apply Image, and this is going to put a black and white image stamp of this image onto my layer mask. And now I'm going to grab all my properties keep going to my other screen. Okay, so now you can kind of see the picture right now, and you can hit invert and it changes it. So I like to play with this and decide I like it like this. So what it's doing is it's taking the green off of the skin tone areas and it's leaving the green pretty much on her shadows. The green is on her shadows. And I'm holding Option and clicking the mask, and that shows me what the mask is doing. So I think I'm just going to do one more. I do multiple curve layers. I love curves and I like to eke into them. And this one, I just want to pop up a little bit. Yeah, that's good. And then just bring the highlights down just a touch and just doing a very gentle S. I don't want to go I think that's too much. I don't want to lose the details because there's so many details in this set. And I'm going to just take everything, Command G to put it into a group, and that's the difference. So basically I removed some distractions, vignetted it, and color toned it. And hopefully that's helpful. So that was Jason's image, and I loved the creepy look that he did with Natalie. It was a great image, but it needed some distractions removed in Photoshop to really put the attention on the model, and it needed some contrast. It needed a little color toning. I didn't do a ton to that image, but I think it brought a lot more focus onto the model and really brought out the creepy aspects of her. This image is from my friend Phil. I was actually with him at this photo shoot. And this is our friend Liz. And so he shot this at Union Station in DC. It's all natural light. And the first thing I'm going to try on this for an improvement is a crop, because I don't think this is adding to the image. And since he didn't get all the way to the top, I'm going to bring this down so that the lines are peaking at the tops of these arches. And we'll see what that does. We don't need the content aware checked. Okay, so that's just a minor improvement. My biggest suggestion here would have been to have the model move a little bit, face the light, and possibly move her forward so that she's kind of in the line of shade. Because right now you can see there's this line of shade. You can see by the light hitting her hair, it's a pretty hard light. So I would push her into this shade area so that she's not getting the hard light on her face, and then just have her reverse that whole thing so that she's getting more of a lighting pattern on her face. But if you didn't do that, what you could try is we could add a dodge and burn layer. And I'm just going to try and bring a little bit of attention to her face. So I'm going to go with a white brush at 10%. Where's my brush? My brush. There it is. It's too small. Okay. I'll just bring a little bit of color, a little bit of brightening into her face, and then X. And let's just kind of keep the shadow on this side. And just a little bit of brightening and a little bit of shadow. Just a little bit, because it wouldn't be natural if she had a whole bunch. Her outfit looks great. The only other thing I think I would do on this is I personally would color tone a little bit, and because of her look, I would try for a retro color toning. And a fast, easy way to start with the retro color toning is just see about a color lookup and try these film ones. And I found, like, see, right, that's not bad. That's the Fuji Eterna. I find that I don't like every other one. See, to me, there's no contrast there. So I only like I like the first one, the third one, and then the last one. And these are all pretty similar, but I actually think this third one, it adds a little pink to the image, which I think is nice. It gives it a little bit more of a vintage look. So I think I'm going to still add a curves layer. I want to add a little more contrast. So just going to pull it down a little bit, bring it up a little bit, and I feel like it still needs a little bit of something in the tinting. I'm going to bring it to the blue level, and let's just kind of bring a little bit of yellow into it. Just a little bit of yellow. Yeah, I like that. Yeah. And that's it. That's all I would do to this one, is just a little bit of dodging, burning, and color toning, and a crop. Maybe I cropped her heel a little too close, but that's it. So hopefully that's helpful. Phil's street style image with Liz was awesome. I gave him some hints on using the lines of shadow so that you can get her out of that harsh light, which is what he was dealing with, and a little bit on the posing so that you get her face going towards the light and that kind of thing. Really not a lot to do there, but I do think, again, that color toning, everybody got color toning. Why did everybody get color toning? Because I think color toning is that important. It really makes a difference in an image. From cool to warm, you're telling a different story, same image. So that's my episode. If you enjoyed these video reviews, let me know. I am happy to review more. I could do these once a month. So leave a message in the comments. Hey, Allie, I want to do a video review. And I'm happy to look into it with you. Also, if you are looking for mentoring, and take a look at Frank Doorhof. He's on Patreon. I'll put a link in the description. I would strongly suggest that anybody that's really looking to grow in their portrait, studio, fashion style photography, mentor with Frank. He's the best. So don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the bell so you get notifications of my next episode. My episodes come out every Friday at 3 o'clock. Take care, and bye-bye. It's a peanut. Peanut, say hi to the camera. Peanut, say hi. Oh, it's a peanut. All right, enough torturing the dog.